Starting. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. My name is Aini Shafika, and I will be your moderator for today's discussion. Before we begin, I would like all of you to imagine this. A sea turtle swimming freely off the coast of Terengganu mistake a floating plastic bag for a jellyfish, which is its natural prey. It's the plastic and slowly starve with its stomach filled with something it can't digest. Sadly, this isn't just a one-off incident. It's a reality happening every day, and it's not of some far away ocean. It's like very near, right here in Malaysian water. So, welcome to our panel discussion titled "Turning the Tide: Tackling Marine Plastic Pollution in Malaysian Water." So, today we confront a crisis that flows beneath the surface, one that is choking marine life, polluting our coastlines, and silently entering our food chain through microplastic in seafood. So this panel discussion aims to unpack the sources, consequences, and solutions to this issue, all through the lens of Sustainable Development Goal 14, Life Below Water. So together we will explore all what's really at stake and more importantly, what we can do about it. So let me introduce all of our panelists first. Will be Alif Aiman, who will discuss type of plastics found in our oceans. Second will be Alisha, who will be covering effects on marine life. And Diana will be speaking on about impacts on human health. Coach Jason, who will talk about environmental and economic consequences. And Bei Hui Jie, who will share the solutions and actions we can take. So let's begin our discussion with our first speaker. Alif Aiman, what do you think types of plastic waste that are most commonly found in Malaysian waters? And where do they typically come from?
Thank you for our moderator, Aini Shafika, for the question. Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Arif Aiman. And to answer the question, in Malaysian water, the plastic that commonly found is microplastic, which is highly prevalent alongside larger items like plastic bag, beverage bottles, food wrappers, and cigarette butts. These plastic primarily originate from land-based sources, including the improper waste management, single-use plastic like plastic bag, bottles, and food packaging, industrial domestic waste, which are discharged from various industries, riverine transport, like major rivers such as the Klang River, act as a conduit carrying vast amount of plastic waste from urban centers to the ocean. And according to Eastern in 2022, plastic are also classified by size from microplastic, ranging to more than 50 centimeters, microplastic, 5 to 50 centimeters, to mesoplastic, which is around 0.5 to 5 centimeters, with microplastic being less than 0.5 centimeters. Also, the research conducted by Chesimum in 2022 reported that the microplastic entered the ocean through river runoff, wastewater, and even the air, and accumulate in marine organisms, eventually entering the human food chain. In short, microplastics are the serious environmental at risk that we must pay attention to. That's all from me.
Okay, Alif, are there certain regions or states in Malaysia that are more affected than others by this plastic waste?
Okay, thank you for Aini for the question. To answer the question, in Malaysia, plastic waste is most found in rivers and coastal areas near major population centers, such as Klang River in Selangor, which run through the Klang Valley, and the most densely populated region in the country. That include Kuala Lumpur, Petaling Jaya, and Shah Alam. The Klang River carries large amount of plastic waste into the Strait of Malacca, mainly to the high volume of the urban waste or disposal practice, and also overburden waste management system in these populated areas. There are also other urban coastal areas like Penang and Johor Bahru, which also face similar issue. Their high population density leads to more plastic consumption and ultimately more leakage into river and the ocean. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alif. As we heard from what Alif said, mostly are um, urban coast water that are affected. Such an informative response. Thank you for for sharing your points. Next, we will go to Alisha. How does plastic pollution disrupt food chain and biodiversity in our marine ecosystem?
Okay, thank you, Aini, and Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So for my part, I'll be talking about how plastic pollution is harming marine animals. So this includes plastic that has been eaten by mistake, plastic that is too small to see like microplastic, and also plastic that traps and injures animals. So firstly, we have plastic ingestion. So many sea animals like turtles, fish, seabirds often mistakes plastic for food. So for example, turtles can mistake plastic bags for jellyfish, and seabirds may think colorful plastic bits are food. So according to a 2023 study by Charlton, Howard and Alia, published in the Journal of Hazardous Materials, seabirds are now developing a condition called plasticosis, which is scarring the inside of their digestive system, which caused by eating plastic. So this shows how serious the damage can be, not just choking, but long-term internal damage and injury to animals. So second is microplastic in fish. So even if plastic is too small to see, it can still be a problem because small fishes can swallow this microplastic, and since these fish are eaten by bigger animals and also by us humans, it can also become part of the food chain. So a 2022 study by Fu et alia in the Marine Pollution Bulletin has found that 100% of the sample commercial fish from the northwest of Malaysia has microplastic in their stomach. So this is a very worrying factor because this means um, the plastic pieces might be in the seafood that we eat. Because especially if you are eating outside, you are buying the fish from the market. So all of this can be a causing factor for us. So the third one is entanglement in plastic waste. So another major issue is when animals get trapped in plastic, like abandoned fishing nets or plastic ropes. This can cause a serious case of injuries or even drowning. So, according to the World Wildlife Fund in 2023, more than 100,000 marine animals die each year because of ghost gear, which is fishing equipment that is lost, thrown away, or even abandoned. So, overall, we have three main ways for plastic pollution to affect marine life. The first one is being eaten by entering food chain as microplastic and also by entangling animals in deadly plastic debris. So if we don't act now, many animals will suffer and the ocean ecosystem will be in danger. Thank you. That's all for me.
Yeah, thank you so much for that detailed answer. It really gives a lot to think about because it's not just animals that are affected. It also comes to human health because microplastics enter our food, right? So Diana, how concerned should Malaysians be about microplastics in our seafood? And are there any known health risks that we should be aware of?
All right, thank you, moderator, for the question. Hello, hi, good morning. I am Ikadera Binti Rozwan, and I will be talking about how it affects human health. So, how concerned should Malaysians be, right? Malaysians should be deeply concerned about microplastics now because it's in our food, especially because seafood is such a major part of our national diet. So, recent research has shown that these microplastics or MPs are not just an environmental issue, they're also becoming a serious public health threat. So again, these microplastics are tiny, tiny, tiny plastic particles that are about or less than 5 millimeters in size. So it's super tiny. And it often end up in oceans and rivers. So as our moderator and Alicia has mentioned before, unfortunately, marine animals and also other animals do ingest these microplastics because they mistake them for food. So when we ourselves eat these animals, we're also ingesting these microplastics that they contain along with harmful chemicals such as bisphenol A or BPA, phthalates, and other heavy metals. So according to Ghosh, in a 2023 study that he did, long-term exposure to microplastics can trigger inflammation, cell damage, and also genetic toxicity in humans. So these effects may not show up immediately, but over time, they can increase illnesses such as cancer, metabolic diseases, and immune system dysfunction. And then another health issue that we should consider is our digestive system, because we consume these microplastics. In a 2025 study made by Abbas, he and his team explained that these microplastics can physically damage the gut lining. So it damages your gut lining and it triggers inflammations and it disrupts your gut microbiome, the balance of your gut will go haywire. So this plays a vital role in immune and metabolic health. So in some cases, these microplastics may even enter your bloodstream, raising the risk of other damage to other organs. And as a woman myself, I think this issue is like super, super heavy because Anam and her team in 2025 did a research and it's proven and it has shown that microplastics can interfere with hormonal balance and damage ovarian function and also affect embryo development. What this means is that there are, and it has been proven, that these microplastics are in placentas, are in breast milk. So a baby, a baby in the human body is already affected with these microplastics. That's how serious this is. So if you don't know, Malaysia is a country ranked among the top 10 plastic polluters globally, and it contributes an estimated 2.29 kilograms of plastic waste per person into the ocean per year. So we are actually the fifth ranking in the countries that contribute to plastic pollution. So yes, Malaysians should definitely be concerned. These microplastics are not only damaging our environment, but also damaging us. So this is no longer just a pollution issue, it's a public health emergency that demands urgent awareness and action. So that is all from my part. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Darana. I really appreciate the thoughtful breakdown on the topic and for shedding light on that. Next, we'll go to Coach Jasmine. We've heard about the effects on marine life, we've heard about the effects on human health, and now what are the hidden costs, whether it's environmental or economic, that we often overlook when it comes to marine pollution?
So for asking this question, so one hidden cost we often overlook is the long-term loss of biodiversity. When marine species disappear because of pollution, the ecosystem suffer in way we cannot immediately see. Over time, this reduces fish populations, weakens food chains, and harms the local community that depends on sea. Okay, we often ignore the lasting impact of tourists and fisheries. Even if the pollution is not extreme today, it's slowly damage local reputation, which lower future income. With that in mind, I would like to highlight that the visible impact of plastic solution, especially on marine life and local economies. Okay, first, plastic pollution harm both animals and coral reef. Like just now, Alicia got mentioned that turtles, seabirds, and fish often mistake plastic for food, which leads to injured, starvation of death. Others become trapped in plastic waste like fishing net, which limit movement and causes drowning. At the same time, coral reefs are also affected, like plastic block the sunlight and introduce bacteria, making coral more vulnerable to disease. When coral reef die, the entire ecosystem collapses. Fish lost shelter, biodiversity drop, and the food chain is disrupted. These images show that plastic pollution threatens the entire ocean system, not just individual animals, but everything connected to them. Okay, the impact extends to human life too, especially in coastal economies. Tourism and fishing are major income sources in places like Pulau Tioman and Pulau Redang. But when beaches are polluted and marine life lines, both industries suffer. Okay, according to a 2021 report by Reef Check Malaysia, plastic waste was found on every survived beach in Tioman, Redang, and also in Perhentian Island. This resulted in increased maintenance costs and a decline in tourist revenue. This evidence supports a key point that cleanup operations are expensive and the damage to income happen quietly but continuously.
Okay, thank you. Jason, do you think enough funding is allocated for managing this issue in Malaysia, whether it comes from the government or NGO? What do you think about that?
I think while government do carry out cleanup for funding is limited, cleanup helps but is not sustainable long term. That's why prevention is through education, regulation, and community action is a better investment. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I really agree with Jason that prevention is very more sustainable than cure. Really insightful sharing on coral reef aspect. Thank you so much. I think many of us didn't realize that before. And next we will go to Bay. Which solutions have shown the most promise in Malaysia so far, whether through policy, education, or technology?
Thank you, moderator. My name is Bai Huijie. Before answering your question, I would like to continue with my discussion part first. Firstly, the solution plastic pollution is reducing your use of single-use plastic. Single-use plastic include straw, bags, and cutlery which often end up in landfill or the ocean and where they harm wildlife and take centuries to break down. For example, Brian Hutchinson, Ocean Society's co-CEO, in his article titled 7 Solutions to Ocean Plastic Pollution, published in Ocean Society website 2023, believes in the best way to do this is by refusing any single-use plastic that you do no need purchasing and carrying with you a reusable version of those products, including reusable grocery bag, product use bag, bottles, utensil, coffee cup, and dry cleaning gum bags. This is because by using reusable alternatives will help decrease plastic pollution and conserve resources in marine environment. For the second point is support legislation to curb plastic production and waste is also a solution of plastic pollution in marine environment. This is due to the government policy can also enforce limit on plastic production and improve waste management system. For instance, under the United States in the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act 2021 stated that a comprehensive federal bill that aimed to address the plastic pollution crisis, and there are a large number of state-level initiatives to introduce extended producer responsibility legislation that makes plastic producers and distributors responsible for their products. In short, supporting such legislation helps creating lasting large-scale environment impact beyond individual efforts. For the third one is solution for slow plastic pollution is recycling constantly. Recycle help reduce the amount of plastic waste in the environment by turning all materials into new products. For example, statistics from 7 Solutions to Ocean Plastic Pollution of 2023, published in Society Ocean Society website revealed that just 9% of plastic is recycled worldwide. Recycle also help keep plastic out of the ocean, reduce the amount of new plastic in circulation. It's also important to check with the local recycling center about the types of plastic they accept. This process conserves natural resources and reduce the energy that emission involved in producing new plastic. For answering the question, which solution have shown the most promise in Malaysia so far, policy changes, education, or technology? In my opinion, I think the solution have shown the most promise in Malaysia is education, because nowadays many shopping malls will prepare different types of recycle bin for us to separate different types of rubbish such as paper, glass, metal, and plastic. With this, students will learn it from school and know how to separate rubbish correctly. In short, marine environment will be clean and comfortable for the marine life. Thank you.
Okay. Good. When we talk about policy, right? Do you think the plastic ban campaign we have here in Malaysia, where the most groceries don't provide plastic, right? Do you think that actually work? That actually help?
I think no, because some of the grocery also restaurant will provide the plastic with no paying by the customer.
Okay, thank you so much, Vicky. Now that we've heard from each of our panelists, I'd like to pose a final question to all of you. Feel free to respond briefly, any of you. If you could implement one policy today to reduce marine plastic pollution in Malaysia, what would it be? Anyone?
I can answer that one, moderator. So, as you all know, we already are currently, like, some states in Malaysia are currently implementing this, but it's not really like to the point. It's like nationwide. So like the first policy that I would like to suggest is perhaps to strengthen and enforce the plastic ban policies worldwide. So much to, for example, like expand the current plastic bag charge to a nationwide ban on single-use plastic for plastic bags, straws, cutleries, etc. So like for although there are states like Selangor and Penang has bans in this space, enforcement is inconsistent. For example, if you go to Lotus, KK Mart, any shopping grocery store in that state, they do not sell like plastic bags. They will ask you to buy a grocery bag that costs around RM1, or perhaps if it's a good quality one, RM3, so that people won't buy plastic bags, which is something that is currently being adopted in their lifestyle. But I will also say that it's not really, not everyone follows it. So here comes to my second policy that I would like to suggest also, is to launch a nationwide awareness campaign. So maybe we can conduct an education campaign in school, universities, communities about plastic bag pollutions and what alternative that we can provide. Why do we have to do this? Is because people are more likely to change their habits when they understand the environmental impact. And I believe by teaching it to younger people, in like implementing it in younger people can help them build a habit that will follow them when they grow up. And how do we promote this is by using social media, television, school program, and campaigns such as like no more plastic bags, hashtag say no to plastic bag, or maybe like hashtag tak nak plastic campaign more actively. We can also use the power of influencers by making them use this campaign in their personal platforms, will attract a larger engagement. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your insight, Alicia. And lastly, what message would you, any of you, could give to everyday Malaysians who want to be part of the solution?
I could answer that for you, moderator. So I believe, so this is my message to all Malaysians, that we can start from ourselves, you know, we can withhold our need to use those single-use plastics, especially during meals and stuff like that, yeah. But if you want to take it to the next mile, you could also volunteer. A lot of programs. I think Coit has mentioned this before, Reef Check Malaysia. So actually, Reef Check Malaysia's International Coast Cleanup is a program which organizes frequent beach cleanups across the country. And then if you like turtles and you want to see and learn more about turtles and maybe like implement, you know, the empathetic value, how turtles live and all, you could go to Malacca in Klebang, like a turtle conservation center. So you could actually learn more about turtles and other marine lives as well. So by learning that and empathizing like how they live, how their life is outside in the ocean, you know, you could feel the necessity of actually wanting to help the oceans stay clear of any plastic at all. So again, the best everyday solution I would suggest is it starts from you. Change starts from individuals. So taking small but consistent actions help protect both our health and the environment. So together, Malaysians can create a long-lasting change for our future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Raina, for the very eye-opening message and suggestions. Okay, so thank you all to all of our panelists for their thoughtful insights and to our audience for your attention and engagement. So today we've explored the root of marine plastic pollution from land-based sources like packaging waste, microplastic, and to ocean-based debris like shipping and fishing nets. We've seen the serious effect on marine life, the dangers of microplastic posed to human health, the economic losses to coastal communities, and importantly, the solution we can support, from policy reform to public education to cleanup efforts. Thank you so much. Marine pollution is not just an environmental issue. At this point, it's a societal issue, economic, and even health issue. And Malaysia, with its rich marine biodiversity and ocean-dependent communities, has a critical role in leading change instead of leading the worldwide pollution chart. So remember, meaningful change start with awareness, but must lead to an action. Whether you're a policymaker, a student, business owner, or a consumer, we all have a role in protecting our oceans. With that, thank you so much to all of our panelists, and special thank you to Miss Anne for her guidance throughout this session. So let's all work together toward achieving SDG 14, Life Below Water, preserving our oceans for generations to come. Thank you so much, everyone.